to our Monday morning motivation. So I am Sophia. I'm new in team, and I'll be your host today. I'm very excited to have Janine here with us today. She's usually with us, but today she's gonna be talking about a very interesting topic, the German-Russian discipline. So I'm very, very curious to hear about it. We already had a wonderful session at 7 a.m. And now we will start our 8 a.m. session very soon. So Janine is the founder of Full Potential Partners. He's a peak performance coach and so many other things. But he's also the founder of Monday Morning Motivation, the co-founder. And yes, if you want to join, if you are a newcomer, if it's your first time here and you want to join our WeChat groups, I'm not sure if the QR code is working well now, but you can add Janine's WeChat, and we'll make sure we can add you to the group. So Janine is just sharing her WeChat ID. So Monday morning motivation is all about getting motivated to wake up early in the morning to create some great habits, especially because Mondays have usually a very not so positive connotation, but we want to change that and start your day and your week on a positive note. So this is our new team. So we have Janine. I'm also very happy to be joining We have Michelle, Melanie, Bota, Altine, and Emmy. That are with us in our team. Then you can also join us always totally for free on Mondays mornings at 7 and 8 a.m. And if you'd like to get our membership, all right, thank you so much, Janine. So if you'd like to get our membership, if you are a newcomer or not, you'll get a lot of value from it. So the good thing is that you'll get access to 1.5 years of recordings from all the Monday mornings. And you also get access to discounts with our professionals, so our partners, whether it's coaches or psychotherapists or visa and other services. So I'm sure you can find a good partner with us. We also have our book, Monday Morning Motivations book, where you can find a lot of inspirational quotes. You can set your goals for the day or for the week, create some good habits, and it can be a gift for your friends, for your family, or just for yourself. All right. And of course, we are doing all of this for free, and you are always welcome to join us and to share your thoughts with us. But also, you are also free to donate if you want. So you can scan this QR code, and half of the amount is gonna go to the 1 Million Tree project. So we are also supporting the environment and planting trees in Inner Mongolia. All right. And yes, that's pretty much it. So I'm very excited to hand over to Janine. So the following 20 minutes, the stage is yours, Janine. Thank you, everyone that is joining us, and hope you have a great start of your day and of your week.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Monday Morning Motivation again. I'm very excited to be not the host today, but the speaker. Thank you, Sophia, for the nice start. Yes, so today it's all about the German-Russian discipline. Just quickly a little bit about myself and where exactly does the topic come from. Yes, I call myself a global citizen. I was born and raised in Germany, but with a Russian mother and a German dad. So I used to work for HP for 7 years. I have an IT business background, found my purpose in life while studying in China. And that's why I now have my training, coaching, consulting company. Okay, now I would like to start with a little story. So let me start with the story that my mom would used to tell me when I was a little girl. In her city, a 1 million inhabited city back in Russia, close to Moscow, she actually always told me that no matter what the weather is, no matter what season it is, every morning, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, those handsome soldiers from the Russian military would be running outside. She could watch them out of the window, and every morning they would be half naked basically while they are running outside at like 5 o'clock or so. No matter what, they would not make excuses, but they are there in winter, when it is snowy in cold Russia, or in summertime, exactly like we can see it here basically. And that's the story I grew up with. So my grandpa in Russia, he actually used to serve in the military. So he was an official. So my mom basically grew up surrounded only by military people. When she went to school, like what I would do is in sports class, PE class, we would just throw some balls. My mom would learn how to throw grenades. Well, that's normal back in her days in Russia. It's nearly the same, a grenade, a ball, right? Or they even had the chance to learn how to jump out of the airplane, basically. All these military activities, they would learn from an early age in primary school, basically. It's normal. It was normal for her. And she would tell me these stories and give it to me in an early age. So for me, it was like, wow, interesting. But then also with my stepdad, for example, it was always like, no matter what, if you go out at night or you can't sleep properly, no excuses. We got to get up early. We got to do our housework. We got to study hard. We got to do this. No excuses. Now, let me ask you, how would you describe discipline? What's your definition, or what does it mean for you? Use the chat group. Use the chat group. How would you describe discipline? Don't overthink. Whatever it means for you. Okay. Nice. Have a routine and stick to it, Rosaline. Thank you for sharing. Getting the job done, even when you don't feel like it. Very good. When motivation leaves you, right? Regardless of any situation or condition, you still show up and you keep going. Showing up and doing your best no matter the circumstances. Keep going no matter what. As a habit, you are forced to take. Commitment. Do your thing step by step. Discipline is all about self-love. Getting up and doing my task when I feel lazy. Do your thing step by step. Discipline sets you free. Wow, we're all about rules here in Russia. Rules. Have to, must. Thanks, Alexei. Good to have you this morning. Beautiful. Let's quickly mute everybody who's not on mute. Yes. So basically, thank you so much for sharing. Beautiful. I love it. I checked the dictionary, Cambridge Dictionary. Sorry, it was not the Russian or the German dictionary. But what they basically said is, number one, discipline is the ability to control yourself or other people, even in difficult times. Like in Russia, it's maybe cold in the morning, doesn't matter, or you go in war, or you have a difficult day, you are tired, whatever it is. Or here, an example from An example from the classroom: maintaining classroom discipline, control of the students is basically a teacher's first task. This definition number 2, training that makes people more willing to obey, as Alexei said, rules, right? More willing to obey or more able to control themselves. Often in the form of rules, as Alexei just said, and punishments if the rules are broken or if the behavior produced by this training. Here are some examples of parental, military, school discipline. There should be tougher discipline in schools, some people say. Or maybe you have said, I don't have enough self-discipline to save money. I've heard this from people before. So it's all about a lot of like rules and also the negativity of punishment. Something bad can happen. Okay, now when I was doing my research online about discipline in Germany and Russia, depending on what my roots are, I found this interesting article, and it said strictness, discipline, and efficiency. Germans' boring values leading them to success in the World Cup. Here, any soccer fans in here? So back in the days, 2010, Germany won the Soccer World Cup, yay! And yes, apparently, because of the stereotype values that Germany has, it helped us to win. It helped us to be a good athlete. It helps us to produce great cars or qualitative products or whatever it is. Where's the root? Let me take you back in history to the 18th century. So you may have heard of Prussia. Let me show you the card of Prussia quickly. So this was Germany in the 18th century. You can see, if you know about geography, it was a little bit bigger than it is nowadays and bordering the Russian border, basically. So back in the 18th century, there was King Frederick William of Prussia. They called him the Soldier King, which first named the Prussian virtues. Yeah, sorry, a little bit of history, right? Before we go into the tips of the discipline. So the virtues associated with the historical kingdom of Prussia are here also closely related again to militarism and also to the ethical code of Prussian army. So here this goes back to Prussian virtues. So military ethical code of the army, and number 3, the bourgeois values. Here for the non-French speaking, bourgeois goes back to basically the high class, the upper class, which is influenced by Calvinism. And now the interesting thing is really those Prussian virtues are the roots. And this is how German culture was very deeply influenced. Now, when we talk about German stereotypes as efficiency again, austerity, and also discipline. Okay, now let's move on in here. I did further research, and it was interesting what I also found, a different kind of discipline. And UNICEF actually has a lot of like research and data, and they found out that in the majority of countries, whether it's Germany, China, Russia, whatever it is, imagine this, crazy. More than 2 in 3 children are subjected to violent discipline by their caregivers or parents. And I'm not saying something is good or bad or so, but isn't that an interesting or maybe crazy fact that basically parents would punish? Remember back to the definition. If children don't obey the rules, they would get punishment, whether it's physically, maybe through slaps, or even worse, or even psychologically. And this seems to be a so common, normal thing, even in nowadays society all around the world. Another interesting thing for us to reconsider, I think that when I look at Chinese students here, I always think, wow, They are so disciplined. They're so hardworking. It's crazy. They read and they study nonstop. They don't make excuses, but they also barely have free time. So here a question could be for the educators of us. And of course, the education system is constantly changing. What should we put first? Discipline or creativity in education? What types of schools do we want? I know some of you are also teachers or you are parents. How do you want to educate and parent your children, basically? Okay, now let me go back to your roots. I was talking about my own roots, basically, but try to identify your root of where does your discipline come from? Use the chat group and try to analyze for yourself where the discipline comes from you. And everyone has a different answer to this. There's no right and wrong. Nice. So we have habits, routines, and a strong reason why. Very good. Knowing your why for intrinsic motivation. Serious father and sweet Jewish mother. Interesting. Thanks for sharing, Louis. Chris was saying, my father was in the military in Brazil. So I also have discipline as a main value. So it's really given from the parent, basically. Self-development, work, and habits. It comes from the zeal for change. Confusion values for me as Shandongese. Nice. We're so international in this chat. I love it. My discipline from wanting to do different from my parents. Thank you, Pauline, for sharing. Compassion. Thanks, Alicia. I am one of 9 kids. My mother was particularly strong and installed the notion of not giving up when the pressure is on. Wow, thank you, Jamie. But the sweet Jewish mother sometimes used her sandals in my brother's spot to help. Thank you for telling us this. Lack of self-esteem and dreamy mom and soft and hardworking dad. Wow, thank you guys. Yes, ask yourself, what is your root? Wonderful, thank you. Now, let me share with you something that we spoke about in the last few months that I had shared with you. Going back to our inner little saboteurs. Remember, the saboteurs are when your mind is sabotaging you through negative emotions like stress or punishment, anger, fear, whatever it is. We do things, the tax declaration, or we obey the rules because maybe we are afraid of something bad that could happen. Now, every one of us has different kind of saboteurs inside us. Maybe some of you have the hyperachiever because in your childhood something happened that made you survive. And this is where these saboteurs were created inside you to help you survive, basically. Like the hyperachiever then thought, oh, I only can love and accept myself when I constantly achieve these new these new goals, these new successes and achievements in my life. So this is why it's so important for you. Go back to your root. Where does it come from? And I can definitely say that when I get motivated to do things, to get up early, you all know I'm very disciplined when it comes to getting up early, like today at 4 o'clock, right? Where does it come from? And nowadays, I'm still sometimes motivated to do these things and get up early and do things because I am afraid to get punished, to have negative outcomes of something. So really ask yourself, why are you doing this? Are you extrinsically motivated or is it intrinsic motivation? And preferably, the best would be if we get away from these negative emotions that constantly motivate us and we try to find a way to get into the sage powers, where this is basically in the right side of our brain, when we really get motivated through positive emotions, like intrinsic motivation, basically. When we use, Alicia mentioned it just quickly, compassion, or at 7 o'clock, she said, when we use empathy and maybe curiosity in order to motivate us to do something instead of just the punishment and fear. Here, take a screenshot if you want to find out about your inner saboteurs, but that's not the main topic of today. I'll share it again later. Okay, last but not least, guys, can you learn how to be more disciplined? What do you think? Say yes or no. Can you learn to be more disciplined? Okay. Yeah, everybody says yes. Good, exactly. That's why we're now here, and we want to learn 5 different methods how you can improve your self-control and your discipline. And here's a fun fact I actually found. According to a 2013 study by William Hoffman, people with higher self-control are actually happier than people without. You all know that whatever I do as a peak performance coach, I always try to combine success with happiness. And that's why I think this is a really, really good thing to know, basically. So you can see discipline and self-control is often used in a similar way. Now, tip number 1, what I suggest you to do is, in order to get more disciplined and self-controlled, remove temptations. Now, how do we do this? I was just talking about the sages and the saboteurs, for example. And very important is that when we are overwhelmed and we are in this saboteur mode, where we are overwhelmed with negative emotions, try to breathe, try to do a little meditation. Take a second to basically really like be laser focused and distract your busy mind. For example, by focusing on this one thing in front of you for like 10 seconds, be laser focused. Or by maybe listening to this sound that is very far away from you, and just be laser focused. This is how, according to science, it can help us to really shift from the brain, the part of the brain where the saboteurs are located, into the sage powers, which are located in the right brain. And yeah, whatever it is to remove temptations, or maybe it's like you're on a diet and you might not want to have chocolate in front of you all the time. It could be as easy as this. But yes, let's listen to the angel and remove all the temptations that are blocking us. Really ask yourself, what is blocking you? What is stopping you from being disciplined? And I'm sure every one of us has a different answer here. Okay, method number 2, create healthy habits. And this really takes time. Some people say 21 days, 30 days, but you got to do it every single day, because this goes back to programming yourself. Apparently, according to research, most of our programs and habits that we live every day, they are created at the age of 7 years. Can you imagine that? 7 years. So they have been in our lives, like how to shower, for example, or how to brush teeth, or eating habits. They have been in our lives for a long, long time. And it's a little bit challenging to change these. No, but really what people say is, in order for you to get disciplined and to have more control over your life, have these regular and healthy habits, whether it's about eating or sports, sleeping. There's like 7 different healthy habits. Last but not least, I normally would say, but no, number 3, it's all about action. You know, we as coaches, we love to empower you. We want to help you to achieve your goals. But even if you pay us money to be your coach, I cannot do it for you. I'm sorry. You got to do it by yourself. And most important is, I think Dino mentioned in the beginning, it's about why are you doing things? What is the purpose? and having intrinsic motivation. Because the thing about motivation is, one point when you're super tired or you're not in your best self, you may lose motivation, especially if you're extrinsically motivated from the surgeon in the military, your teacher, your parents, or boss. So with discipline and these habits, you will just do it because you gotta do it. Like the soldiers in my mom's hometown in Rizan. It doesn't matter. Every day, whether it feels right or it doesn't feel right, they are outside going for their run without wearing a t-shirt. They just do it, and you gotta take action. Don't overthink, guys. And if you do a little, it's what I said, a little meditation to distract your mind when you're overwhelmed with negativity, this can help you, and it can get a little bit easier to just do it. But important is, you gotta do it. Number four, and that's something now, to be honest, and this is, I think, something of, let's say, a boundary of discipline. Learning how to schedule breaks, treats, and rewards for yourself. I was not really taught how to do it. And you're gonna laugh about it. It's just recently, now that my business is going better, it's just recently that I start to do a little bit more and reward myself. You know, you're gonna laugh about this, and I should know it better, but I had a 1.5 day vacation 10 days ago. The last time I had a real vacation with really no work at all was September last year, 1 year later. And you may judge me for this, whatever it is, but for me, because discipline is so deeply rooted inside me, like getting up early, even if I go out, I would still be up. Like Saturday night, I went out. Sunday, I was working from 7 a.m. No excuses, because it's so deep, these programs inside me. But I'm slowly learning by myself to schedule breaks, to go on retreats, whatever it is, like a dog. Imagine here my crazy little cats. When I'm gone for days, what do? I come home and they get some treats. Or like maybe your own dog or your pets. When they were good, you give them treats. Don't you think you deserve a treat yourself? Yeah. Which then brings me to very, very important, the last point of today. You may have guessed it. Forgiving yourself. Is that easy? Forgiving other people? Forgiving yourself? Is that easy for you? Most important is, especially when we're so deeply trained from an early age to be disciplined, maybe it is not easy for you to forgive yourself. Like I told you, I have this hyperachiever inside me. I constantly, Janine, you got to do more. You got to do better. No breaks. Continue. No excuses. Take action. But what if you fail? What if you mess up? I mean, we're just humans, aren't we? We're not robots. So at one point, we need to forgive ourselves when we make mistakes. Or whatever it is. Forgiving yourself may not be easy, but also this is something you can train yourself and you can learn. Self-control and discipline can be learned. And then most important is, again, take action and just move forward. No matter what mistake you did, just move forward. I hope that these 5 tips helped you. I hope that I could inspire you with my roots of Russian and German culture. I hope you identified your own roots and whether you act from negative emotions and saboteur stage when it comes to control and discipline, and maybe where you can act out of empathy for yourself, forgiving yourself, curiosity, creativity, the positive emotions, and intrinsic motivation. And as you know, I always love to say, what is the one thing that you can start taking action from today? Don't get overwhelmed by doing it all. I mean, just one little tiny step that you can start from today. feel free to share it in the WeChat group. I'm gonna open up for the Q&A session now. And in case somebody still wants to learn how to weaken your saboteurs and strengthen your sage powers, contact me on WeChat. I started a program on Saturday, but I can still onboard you today. It's a 7-week program. Or if you wanna read more articles on my WeChat official, try just again. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And Sophia, I'm gonna let you lead the Q&A session now.
All right. Thank you so much, Janine, for this inspirational webinar. It was really great to hear you talking about empathy and how this importance of empathy in discipline, because we often forget to be kind to ourselves, right? And discipline is also can be also about empathy and self-love, right? Thank you so much, Janine. And now the Q&A session is open. So feel free to share your questions, your insights, anything that you'd like to share. Okay, Sebastian.
Hey, hello. Janine,
Hi,
just
Sebastian.
hello, just to say hello. Have been a while since we last spoke.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to say goodbye to Maria, but maybe catch up. And your young lady in front of me, I didn't catch your name. Sorry.
Sophia.
Sorry, Athea.
Sophia.
Oh, Sophia. Okay, nice meeting you, Sophia.
Nice meeting you too.
I missed the first part of your talk, so I'll catch up somehow. So, but the little bit I've heard, thank you. Yeah, one in particular that resonate with me is the one about the necessity of celebrating your wins, however small it might be. So thank you. Appreciate that, Janine.
Thank you, Sebastian. Any questions? Isabella, I think you raised your hand. Feel free to unmute yourself or write it in the chat group.
Hi, good morning again. So I would like to ask your opinion, Janine. Yesterday I met Sophia and we met our coaches, NLP friends, and really on the end we had a small talk about discipline and how we Germans, so I include myself because I'm also half German from the side of my father, and I lived very long there, also in Germany. I studied there, and so then I tell you, the half of my family are German, and I learned also self-discipline from my father, from my grandpa, but I experienced a very strange and strong self-discipline in Germany. So, and for me, that was not from home, but from mother country, from Germany. Too much. What I mean with them, sorry, my son is here. What I mean with that, sometimes the people who are judging you all the time, you were giving more than 100% to come over your problems, over your goals, but always was someone there that judging you is not enough. And I experienced that with the language. And yesterday was the same. A German guy was there and said, I can improve your German. I can help with your German. Without to know that I am teacher of German. And I say, why not? And I was asking myself, why and how that has happened. And I don't judge him because I know that this is some things from the country, some things from the group, to judge them and always wait for expertise, always wait for 100% or more than 100%. And if they hear like a small mistake, they judge you. So what was your experience? Because I think you are so, you have two mother language, right? Russian and German. How was for you to come over this problem, to be judged for all the group, all the people?
Yeah, wow, that's an amazing question. Again, I can just like share more my personal opinion, but actually I don't speak Russian. I have to admit this. In the way how my mom raised me, I can see Russian roots basically, but unfortunately I don't speak the language well enough, just a tiny bit. So I think we just have to get back to German culture. And this is a very common thing. I used to work in an IT company for HP. I was surrounded by only men, double my age, got a senior position when I was 23. And it definitely goes back to the roots of the culture. So when we I don't know, maybe you can check Hofstede Insights for the roots of different cultures when you compare to others. I think that is just the nature of Germans, basically. And the only thing that I personally can say is, and this is now just my personal opinion, it was challenging for me as well. And it was a reason why I could not always be 100% authentically me in that workplace, in a job that I did. Because it was also on top male driven and very, and very rational people. Because when you have a balance also of emotions and rational, for example, then also things could be a little bit easier from my experience. Again, I'm really just talking about my own experience, but I think it's your decision. In which industry do you want to work? With which kind of people do you want to work? Sometimes, I have my own company, I can choose that. Sometimes when you work for any kind of company, maybe you cannot choose, but it's your decision also with what kind of friends you want to surround yourself with. And I think there's specific industries, specific countries, origins that make it a bit more challenging, like for example now with the Germans. But I think it is your decision for your own life, because you design your own life, what you want to be surrounded with. I hope this somehow helps you, but I definitely feel you. I had lots of similar challenging situations.
Thank you. I am really grateful to talk about that, and to hear also about your story and how you manage all these talents. I am okay with me now. I think only that's repeats again. So I found my purpose. I know my way, and it's only sometimes we are confronted again with this kind of behavior. And this is nice to think about that, and this is everything fine, because what I don't judge him, because this is the way how he grew up, that everyone was telling him always to give 100%, give 120%. So everything fine. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Isabella.
My pleasure. I think, sorry, Sophia.
Go ahead, Janine, sorry.
No.
No, I was just sharing because Isabella's origins are in Brazil. And maybe that also has to do with some kind of cultural shock, because as a Portuguese and my parents, I was born in Germany, and my parents used to say they had that kind of cultural shock, because in Portugal we are quite different, maybe not so disciplined in some sense. Of course, that has to do with each person, but culturally speaking is a great gap, right? It's different. So Isabella possibly also has to do with her origins, right?
Very good sharing. I think you are next. We just got to hurry up a bit more because of the time. Yes. Do you want to unmute yourself? I think you also wrote it, right? Why so disciplined in Russian or German styles? Why the gifted one like Viktor Tsoi or Rasputin? Bonnie M could change the rules, break the law. I think there's a lot of different role models that we could follow. The reason why I just chose these ones, it's because of my own origins, basically. Did you have a specific question, Ihak? Love your sharings.
Because sometimes it's so stiff cultures, so why they won't have courage, or sometimes it's called zeitgeist to do it, zeitgeist.
Mm-hmm.
Time spirit or time push. Just like you see US Open now, this is a new champions for Russians, so great, go Russia. And also there is a lot of female Asian, faces, maybe from Philippines culture, sport heritage, and China, Romania, and so on. So I think they want to break law. Thank you so much.
Great sharing. It's a new century, a new year. We can do things differently, right? We don't have to stick to this. That's why it's so important that we know the root, and then it's our decision. If we want to change something, we want to do things differently, we take other role models, for example. What I really love about our webinar, this 8 o'clock session, we have Alexei from Russia. We have Louis from Poland today. We have people from Australia this morning. You guys are so international. It's amazing. Chris was sharing, discipline is always linked to military punishment award. Some people reject this. So I think reframing the meaning of discipline is very important to generate discipline from inside. Wonderful sharing. Pauline, Janine, do you have tips for eliminating temptation of not doing something? Like, it's pretty clear for chocolate, but what about eliminating temptation of sleeping in or skipping gym? That's a nice one. I see some people smiling. This goes all back to, I think Dino mentioned in the beginning. Why do we do things? Intrinsic motivation and the purpose. What is the purpose? What is your why of sleeping in, or of getting up early, or of going to the gym? The stronger the why is and your purpose, the stronger your intrinsic motivation can get. The easier it also gets to overcome the temptations. And try to ask yourself, like, what is stopping you? And why are you sleeping in and skipping the gym? Then you can find some solutions to these kind of temptations. I give you an example, skipping gym. Like, why are you skipping gym? Maybe because you're alone or you hate going to the gym alone. Well, maybe the answer could be, why not get an accountability partner? I don't know what it is for you, but ask yourself, why are you sleeping in? Why are you skipping the gym? And why do you do this? It all goes back to this very simple question of why and the purpose. Oh, nice. Alexei is sharing. Actually, Alexei will be our speaker in October as well. I'm really excited. I had a session with him recently. Amazing guy. He was saying, he's actually based in Russia. He used to live in China. Discipline may help improve skills and achieve higher results. Like Chinese Olympic participants are pretty strong and successful. But does it make people happy at the end of the day? This is a question I always pay attention to. Wow, very philosophic. I think this is a question we all should ask ourselves, right? Does it make us happy at the end of the day when we sleep in, when we skip the gym, when we follow the temptation or whatever it is? Jonas, how do you think our native language influences us in our discipline? Oh, wow, that's an amazing question. I'm not a language expert, but I think we Germans have a very strong language in the way how we pronounce words, how it sounds. Just to give you an example, in German, we would say not health insurance, but we call it sickness insurance. So I think it's great what Jonas says. The language plays an important role. And I think especially in Russia, and I think Alexei or other Eastern, like Russian speaking people, you could say this more. I know a few Russian friends, they started to have programs. They do it rather in English than in Russian. For example, when it comes to self-love or self-esteem, because of the language blocks them, or they find it easier to learn self-love when they, for example, speak English than Russian, because you are a little bit like a different personality. Maybe you guys know it. Like when I speak English or French or German, I always feel a little bit like a different person. What is your why? Yes. Okay. Alexei agrees with the language affects us a lot. Okay.
But is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I think it's kind of time to stop now because it's already 8:45. I know you guys have some work. Sophia, would you like to close our session?
Yes, thank you so much, everyone that joined us today for our session. It was wonderful to have you here today. Thank you so much, Janine, for these sharings. And for everyone that was joining from Russia, from Poland, from all parts of the world, from China, of course, from different cities. Thank you so much. And have a great start of the week. Have a great start of your Monday morning. And see you soon. Thank you so much for joining us.
Happy Monday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and start taking a little bit of action from your sage mode, the positive emotions. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
And thanks for joining via video. It was awesome to see you. Jamie, have an awesome day. So good to see you too. Wendy, take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Ciao.